If it wasn't for me going to my first big event, it happened to be in Florida, this guy would not be in business today. Very few times do many of us get a chance to be part of a significant emotional experience. When you go somewhere, you see thousands of people on stage winning. For the first time, you get yourself out of your regular environment. You're around successful people that are on stage that are sharing their testimonies, that are now making six figures for the first time, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million for the first time. And you know what they're speaking? They're speaking a certain language that you're just not used to. This former bill collector was not used to. They talked about the dream language, the believe language, the what if language. And I saw dreams and goals become a reality, people winning at the highest levels. And I said to myself, can this former bill collector, raised by a single mom, no experience in business, can I really do this business? I saw someone share their testimony that didn't have any background in the financial industry or insurance. And I saw them winning, making millions of dollars and retiring to their parents and traveling the world and buying things I dreamt about myself. So the first time my vision stretched and I said to myself, what if this guy can do it? What if one day I'm on stage winning at the highest level? A big event will change the way you think. It will stretch your vision. It'll inspire you, it'll motivate you, and it'll make you believe that it is possible for you to go out there to win at the highest level. And so I'm excited about the big events. I'm excited for you attending the next big event. Don't miss any event because we all started just like you, dreaming, believing that one day our goals and dreams will become reality. But you have to put yourself in the right environment so you can see people win. And then one day you're going to say to yourself, man, I'm so glad I went to a big event. Now I'm speaking and I'm leading and my dreams and goals are becoming a reality, all because of a big event.
How many of you would like to increase your chances of making it into this business? Okay? So one day, we asked Pastor Bet David, we asked him, Patrick, what is the secret sauce of this business? What's the secret? Is it recruiting? Is it selling? What is it? Is it like reading all the books in the world? What is it? Patrick says this, listen, if you were to ask me just one thing, that if you were to focus on this, you could become the biggest person in the company. So, yeah, please give it to me. He says this, number one, beyond everything, above everything, above everything that we do. He says, focus on taking the most people to the big event and to increase your attendance twice. So you grow from big event to big event, so increase it twice. So one big event you take 20, then 40, then 80, then 160. You increase it twice. And if you do that, eventually you're going to pass everybody. So why the big event? Why big events are so important? Well, it's something about leadership. There's a magic of taking people to the big event, that it provides leadership because the only people who take people to the big events are the people who are leaders. The other thing is there is an emotionally attachment when you go to these big events. There is no way that you can learn this business just logical. You have to be attached emotionally. You get to learn from other people. Maybe you see, Rodolfo, I don't know if I can do this. I'll go to this event, then I see this other person. I say, man, that person looks like me, speak like me. You know what? If they can do it, I can do it. You get to hear from other people's stories. You get to hear from other people's stories and you say, you know what? I can do it. I can win as well. But the most important thing about going to the big event is that you get to transform yourself. And you get to transform your people that go to the big event with you. There is a reinvention when you go to these big events. But Rodolfo, I don't understand. Why do we have to do it? By the way, it's far. Because sometimes these big events is not in our city. So we need to travel. We need to do that kind of stuff. So that's part of the big event. You're doing something that is out of your comfort zone. And that's when you get the most changes. When you're in the same environment, you never change. So make sure you go to this big event. You're going to hear this big event we do twice, maybe twice or 3 times a year. Usually it's twice. We do one regional and we do one big one where we get to bring all these entertainers, and with these magical events that we do. We had events with George W. Bush. We brought Kobe Bryant. The late Kobe Bryant came to an event. Ex-presidents come to the event. We got Kevin Hart in one of our events. We brought Nicky Jam. We brought all these, and Nelly came to our big events. I mean, it's insane. Okay? But if you ever want to make a change within yourself and within your team, don't miss these big events. That's the most important thing in your business. That's the secret sauce. Rodolfo, I was expecting something different. No. There is nothing bigger than taking you yourself and your team to go to the big event.
So why should you attend big event? When I was a brand new trainee, coming fresh out the Marine Corps, I just got my insurance license. Somebody share with me these three things that absolutely would change anybody's life. Number one is the books that you read. Number two are the people that you surround yourself with. And number three, the meetings and events that you attend. Well, these three things are so powerful that attending big event, 2 out of 3 is nailed in one investment of time, energy, and money. Coming to conferences, coming to Fast Start School, coming to kickoff events, coming to annual convention. And there's so many different aspects that I can share with you. I'll break it down here in a few points. Number one, when you go to a conference, when you go to an event, number one, you get to see the big picture. And I'll say this once, and I'll say it over and over my entire career. Knowing what this business has done for my wife and I the last 7 years. This business, the last 7 years, has made my wife and I a little over $10 million from a $199 investment to enroll in PHP agency, and of course, a couple $100 to get our insurance licenses. But think about the income that we just made from this small investment. Well, I thought that, hey, this is just a $199 what? Shirt, pair of jeans, pair of shoes. I didn't realize that when I first started my career, when I first started my business, that this was the absolute generational shifting type of business and experience that will change the name and the trajectory of the Sapala last name forever. So number one, I got to see the big picture. Why? I got to see other people that were having the same struggles I was having, the same objections that they were having, the same objections that I personally was having in dark moments of my failures, that I realized that there's other people there also making the same mistakes and kind of feeling a little bit weird about this evolution from going from broke to balling, from going from nowhere to somewhere in events allowed me to see the big picture. Number two, allowed me to mature, allowed me to grow up, allowed me to recognize that, man, all I wanted to do was be financially free. All I wanted to do was pay off my credit card bills. All I wanted to do was make sure I pay off my cars and I can have financial freedom. Well, that reality starts to become fast forwarded. Think about this. How many of y'all played Nintendo? How many guys have played Mario Kart? What happens when you're in Mario Kart? You're in the car, next thing you see the arrows. What do you do when you see the arrows? You do whatever it takes to deviate from your current direction, make a left, make a right, because you know once you hit those arrows, what happens to you in the Mario Kart? Bam! You accelerate that much further. You accelerate 10 times. You're able to get ahead in that game. Well, the same thing happens too when coming to big events. You're able to accelerate your thought process. You got months, sometimes even years of development, of you wrapping your brain and mind around this thing called entrepreneurship, wrapping your mind around this industry called the financial services and insurance industry, and it's condensed in a Fast Start School. It's condensed in a kickoff event. It's condensed in an annual convention. And that power of you getting in that financial Mario Kart is what I call coming to big events. The next part of coming to big event is I got to understand the insurance industry that much further. Like I started increasing my financial education and financial literacy through my insurance license. Why? Because I got to meet the carriers. Here's a cool thing, quick story. Here I am, no college degree. I can barely spell the word. I swear, 2015, even though I was been in business for 14 years at the time, because I started in 1999 to 2012, I started selling insurance, just me, myself, and I, solo practitioner. It wasn't until 2015 where I actually came on board the PHP agency, because it was on our shirts all the time, that I didn't know how to spell the word entrepreneur. Crazy story. And when I came to the conference, I started saying, why do these multi-billion dollar insurance companies want to talk to me? You know, John Smith, alphabet soup after his last name. They want to talk to me with no college degree. They want to talk to me, a kid that can barely spell the word entrepreneur. You know why? Because they want to equip me with the knowledge, the thought about how we look at our products and services, how we deliver that to the marketplace. They wanted to educate me how I can thoroughly understand and be a student of business, to understand the financial services industry and the products and services that they offer, so therefore I can better serve and help my family, help my friends, and help my team. And once I got equipped with that knowledge, I can go back and become a better field trainer. I can translate that into new associates that come on board to my business. I can accelerate further in the business and quickly put more money in their pocket sooner than I did when I first initially started. So coming to big events allows you to see the insurance companies that we do business with and the representatives that represent those companies. So therefore I can start building a relationship with this wonderful, great, and multi-trillion dollar industry.
Welcome, everybody, to the Power of Big Event. Let me tell you my big event story. I remember I got started June 15th. I went to my first meeting. There was a big event in July. And my friend, Eugene, who introduced me to the business, says, hey, man, there's a conference in Vegas. I said, well, that's great, but what is this? What kind of conference? What's a big event? Dude, it's a big event. It's like amazing. You're going to get training. You're going to get leadership. You're going to learn the products. And I was like, dude, that sounds great. He was really excited about it. So I was curious what it was. And he was a great promoter at selling the Power of Big Event. And so I said, hey, I can't go because I'm working. I can't take off for Friday, Saturday. Those are my busy days at the restaurant. On top of that, I'm going to school. On top of that, I'm doing my real estate thing on the side. And on top of that, I don't have the money. So I immediately go into every single reason I can't go. Now, some of you, maybe you're married, maybe it's kids, maybe it's your job, maybe it's whatever it may be. Typically, it's time off work, it's money or family in terms of planning with the kids. So I said, I'm not going to big event. He says, you got to come to big event. I said, dude, I'm not going to big event. You got to come to big event. I've already told you, I'm not going to big event. You don't have a choice. I'm picking you up. You're coming to big event. And his certainty, his conviction that I needed to go won me over. See, they say that in every conversation, somebody's buying something. And the person that's selling and the person that gets that sale is the person that has the most conviction. He had more conviction that I needed to be at that meeting than I had conviction that I couldn't be at that meeting. So the person with the most conviction wins. So I go to this meeting. I don't have the money. He helped me with a ticket. And I couldn't afford a hotel room. So we're in this hotel room. He invited everybody else on his team to this hotel room. So there's 8 guys in this room. And I just see guys coming in like it's going to be a party. And I'm like, what are we doing? We're partying? No, these are all the guys staying in the room. I'm like, dude, there's 8 guys in this room. Where's everybody sleeping? What are you talking about? We're sharing beds next to everybody. Guys are sleeping on the floor. Literally, it was 2 on a bed, 1 on the left of the bed on the floor, 1 in the center, another one here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2 in front. There was like 9 people in this room. One guy, not going to go through his name, but he knows who he is if he watches this. He didn't shower a lot. So I'm telling you, his socks smelled so disgusting that we took his socks and we put it inside of his pillow so that he would smell what we smell. And then one night he's sleeping. We're all like quiet because we all just came back in from the meeting. He's like, oh, what the hell? This smells like you know what? And we all died laughing at this meeting. So go back to the meeting. I'm sitting there. I've seen my office. I've never seen like thousands of people at an event. And I'm like, everybody's got the shirts, the badges. I'm like, dude, this is a lot bigger than just this one office. Sometimes you may be in a small office of 5, 10 people. You may be in a large office. But if you've never seen a company, if you've never seen a regional event or a hierarchy event, and you've never seen a company event, it's completely different. And you don't even know what to expect. So I walk in, I see thousands of people there. And I'm like, wow, this is a big deal. And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching these guys give this message. And there's one talk that connected with my heart. This gentleman, former military, gets up there and says, you know, at one point, I've done this in the military. And I defended our country. But my family called me, my mom called me, and she needed me. And I couldn't even defend my own mom. I couldn't even come through for my own mom. How many guys are sitting in the audience right now? And he asked this. He says, how many guys are sitting in the audience and there's somebody you want to win for so bad that you've seen them struggle and they've done so much for you, they've sacrificed so much for you that you want to give them everything in this world. And I'm sitting all the way in the back of this arena and I'm just crying. I'm just crying and I'm saying, man, dude, you have no freaking idea how bad I want to win for my mom. The person that sacrificed everything for me. The person that would go to work and pick us up and drop us off and bring us a lunch in the middle of the day. And the person that would homework and take us to the library and we miss something, go back to the library. And the person says, belief, 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 belief. Man, I want to win for my family so bad. And so I'm sitting there and I made an emotional decision at this big event. A good friend of mine, Len, said, you have to see. And I'm like, see? What is see? Like, can I see? Significant emotional experience. He says, in your life, you have to get outside your comfort zone. You got to get outside of the norm, your house, your apartment, your problems, your bills, your neighbors, your city. You got to go somewhere that you've never been. You got to get uncomfortable so that you can get comfortable. And when you go there and you're at this big event, you're going to have a significant emotional experience. Something that I cannot explain to you. I remember Pat would say, some things you can't explain, like what does a banana taste like? And when he asked that question, like, what does a banana taste like? Well, it's mushy, it's soft, it doesn't sound good, but it's delicious, right? He says, some things you can't explain, people have to experience. And I made that decision that I was gonna go all in, like, I'm gonna give this a try. I'm gonna give this a serious try. And that led to me qualifying for a mastermind. At that mastermind, I made a decision to quit my job and go full-time here. And I dropped out. I left for a lobster. I stopped doing real estate, and I dedicated time to this industry. I didn't have a license, probably not the best decision. Make sure you at least have a license, you know how to make money, and you're a field trainer before you quit your job and go full-time. That's how much faith I had, okay? I bought the dream, they sold it, and I bought it. And I struggled at first. And never feel bad for people struggling. They gotta pay their price. Because when you win at such a high level, you know what you're gonna remember? How you didn't have the money. How you went to CVS to buy food. One of my guys, God bless his soul, Jose, he's no longer here with us, but at a meeting we go together and he brings a George Foreman grill. I'm like, what are you talking, what is that thing? He says, dude, I don't got money to buy food. So we bought chicken. He brought an ice chest with chicken and a George Foreman grill. And he's cooking up chicken inside of a hotel room. We got people sleeping in the closets. They were like our big events, like, yeah, what did he just say? Yes, they didn't have any money. We slept wherever we could sleep. And back in the day, we used to be able to get up and get in line early. These days, all because of the size of our event, we can't do that. But I remember, guys, we wanted front row seats at a big event. Like, big events, insanity. Big event doesn't make sense. And we wanted front row seats. So we snuck in one night, and all of a sudden, we hear security coming. We jump underneath the stage. You see what do you call, whatever, flashlight, right? And we're like, shh, shh. And then that night, people came in. We're in the front. We're like, how'd you get here? Man, you got to fight for the front. We're not going to give them our secrets, you know. But we wanted, like, big event is this thing where you go and it transforms you. And it may be a challenge for you financially. It may be a challenge for you logistically. And when you're there, you don't get a whole lot of sleep. And the whole idea of being on property so that you're not distracted and you don't go off property and hang out with other people. Like, be very careful when you go to a big event who you spend time with, because it truly is an opportunity where you're around the best of the best in one location. And it's the only time where all of the top earners in the company are all in one place to help you. And so you could literally meet every single person. And you'll see people hey, can I get a picture with you? But even more than that is, hey, can I ask you a question? Hey, I want to get better at this. Hey, I'm part-time. Hey, I'm full-time. Hey, I'm struggling with this. And you have every product provider there, every leader there, every home office executive there. The vision gets cast, the updates, the announcements, the new incentive trips, the new world trips, like all that data, the first to hear it is that big event. And they say there's a 50% chance of you becoming a leader if you attend that event. But there's probably a 100% chance that you won't if you don't. Because if you would have already been who you need to be to win to the level you want to win, you would have already won. So if you're not winning, something's got to change. And it's a filtering process to see who's really serious. And I can tell you, after being in the business for years, that sometimes I'll talk to people and they're like, George, I really want to go, but I may get fired, right? And there's this thing that says, a quote that says, if you're sick of your job, you can call in sick, right? And so we'll challenge people that way. But man, George, you don't understand. I got 4 kids. I got 3 kids, man. George, you don't understand. I'm a single parent. You got to show those kids that you still got to find a way to win. And maybe you got to ask for help. Maybe you got to put your ego aside. Maybe you got to bring somebody to watch them and make this like a family business vacation. Maybe you got to have some tough conversations with mom or dad or brother, sister, aunt, uncle, somebody to help you. You know, sometimes you realize that, man, I really do need a community. But also, if you don't have one, you don't use that as an excuse. You still find a way. People say, man, George, you just don't care. No, where there is a will, there is a way. That saying really exists. If you want it, you will find a way. And if you don't, you will find an excuse. And I'll tell you that as humans, we want to be understanding. Like logistically, when people have told me some of these things, like I can't go to a big event because of this, in my mind, I'm like, man, I feel bad for this person. But that quote of never feel bad pushing somebody when it's for their own benefit always comes to mind, because somebody did it for me. And if I didn't go to that big event, I wouldn't have had my breakthrough. But on top of that, if I don't go to that big event, I don't have the moral authority to challenge somebody else to go to a big event when they're going through that same situation. Most human beings don't have somebody that will take all their excuses away. Most of us have people that buy our excuses and make us feel okay about not being the best version of ourselves. The power of you coming to a big event is one thing. The second thing is when you cross the stage at a big event. If there's an opportunity, a 246, who hit marketing director, who's going to get a watch earner, top crusader, ring earner, senior promotions. When you cross the stage and you're with your husband, your wife, your kids, your family's in the audience, something happens to you. Because when's the last time you crossed the stage in front of thousands of people to be recognized? What happens when you look into the audience? I remember Pat said, come up here to the stage, Pelayo. And this was at a big event. And I'm like a field associate director or new MD. I had a very small team. And he says, stand right here, Pelayo. Look at this. He says, one day, all these people will be on your team. You know what that did for me? One, I didn't believe it. But I believed him. I didn't believe me. But I just said, what if? What if this actually does happen? And today we'll do events where we'll have thousands of people show up at an event on this team, all because somebody got me to a big event. Every single soul at a big event could be a breakthrough for that person. They could be your biggest leader. You can't judge a person by what they look like because you don't know what they have on their inside. You don't know how bad they want to be somebody in their heart. And that's a hero-making machine. And when you go to big event and you win a big event, make sure your family's there. Maybe your wife is not in the business, but she can, and you can't, some things you can't tell your spouse, whether it's your wife or your husband. They need to hear it from another spouse. That happens at big event. Take your siblings to big event. I remember my brother and my sister, they would attend conferences, and at one point they were in the business with me. They're no longer in the business with me, but they got exposed to big thinking. That changed their life. Big meetings change our life. And so have your family there. Maybe somebody will give a message different and man, boom, all of a sudden non-supportive turns to supportive and supportive turns into active and active turns into, let's go dominate the world together, babe. Let's go build our dreams together. That's the power of big event. And I'll finish with this. When I'm getting promoted to marketing director, I heard the story from Pat on how he hit big event, got promoted at a big event to MD, and his dad was in the audience. And they start building up this person, and his dad's like, well, who are they talking about? And he says, I don't know this. I don't know, Dad. And then they'll say, all of a sudden, help me welcome marketing director promotion, Patrick Bet-David. And his dad sees him for the first time winning and being picked up and being a hero in front of thousands of people. And I heard that story, and it got locked into my mind. And I said, one day I'm going to do that. And so I'm getting promoted as a marketing director at this big event. And I'm sitting at my table with my family. I got my mom, my dad, my grandma, who passed and was the hero of our family. I got my sister, her husband, my brother, my sister's daughter, and we're all at this table together. And I got my team there. And they say, hey, let me welcome the next person. We have a video to play. And it's me. And I'm talking to my dad in front of thousands of people. And you just see my family, guys. My parents start crying. They're so proud. Maybe you've never had that moment. Maybe this is like, maybe you're at a point in your life where you want redemption. Maybe you want breakthrough. Maybe you're sick and tired of just your current circumstances. A big event can change all of that for you or for your team. So challenge everybody to be there. The whole idea is that every one person, outside of the emotional aspect, the business aspect, every one person at a big event will produce roughly $1,000 of passive income. So what if you go have 10 people at a meeting, and all of a sudden those 10 get their own 10, now you have 100, and those 100 get their own 10, and now you have 1,000. What if you have 1,000 people at a meeting, and every person generates $1,000 on average of passive income? You now have $1 million of passive income. That's what this business has done for us, and it would be impossible without the power of big event. So we look forward to seeing you at the next big event on stage. Take care, everybody.